Hey guys, welcome to Daily Bible Study. Today we delve and get a chance to kind of look into the heart of Paul's letter to the church in Colossae, to the Colossians, right? Now that is a message that resonates with timeless truth and transformative power. So we want to look at the core of this letter and what this letter declares. It declares for us that Jesus is supreme, and that he is not just supreme, but that he is entirely sufficient for our spiritual needs. And so we're going to first look at the supremacy of Christ. If you go into Colossians chapter 1, you can read that in verses 15 through 20, right? So Paul begins by painting a magnificent portrait of Jesus Christ, right? He's the image of the invisible God, right? He's the firstborn of all creation. Through him, all things were created, right? And in him, all things hold together. Now that's a profound truth that places Christ above all earthly and spiritual authorities. Now, in a world where we are often swayed by various philosophies, ideologies, and spiritual experiences, Paul reminds us that Christ is the ultimate authority, and that he is the head of the church and the one in whom the fullness of God dwells. So that's the supremacy of Christ. Now we're going to look at the sufficiency of Christ. So in Colossians chapter 2, verses 9 and 10, we see in Christ the fullness of the deity lives in bodily form, that we have been filled in him, and that this statement of us being filled in Christ underscores that in Christ we lack nothing, that he embodies the completeness of divine nature, and that through him our union with him, right? And in that moment we partake in this fullness. And so that's a truth that the Colossians and us today find our identity, purpose, and satisfaction in Christ alone. Now, the world offers many alternatives. You guys know that. And it promises fulfillment, enlightenment. But Paul directs us back to the only true source of life and godliness, and that's Jesus Christ. So how do you put together this supremacy of Christ and the sufficiency of Christ to live out this supremacy and this sufficiency? I think Colossians chapter 3, verses 1 through 4 tells us that, right? So acknowledging this, his supremacy and his sufficiency, calls for a response. And Paul urges us to set our hearts and minds on things above, not on earthly things. Our lives are now hidden with Christ in God. And so this new orientation of life influences our values, our decisions, and even our relationships. It empowers us to live in a way that reflects the character and the priorities of Christ. And so in a world of distraction and temptations, our focus remains steadfast on the one who is above all. So I want you to think about that today. Reflect on the supremacy and the sufficiency of Christ. Let it be a beacon that guides our faith journey. And let's embrace the fullness of life in him. Let's reject the empty promises of the world, because in Christ alone we find our true identity. We find our purpose. We find our fulfillment. And so as Paul admonished the Colossians, we need to hear these words. Christ is all, and he is in all. So let's live in the light of this profound truth today. We hope that you guys will be blessed this week, and that you will continue to join us throughout our daily Bible studies this week. And don't forget about our midweek Bible study. Don't forget about our prayer Thursday morning with our mighty men. Don't forget about our night of worship Friday. And don't forget about our celebration this Sunday with our Christmas play in the second service, and just the wonderful opportunities that we're going to have to worship the Lord this week. Be with us on these daily Bible studies, okay? Take care, guys. Cheers.